So, Activision Blizzard, new CFO is getting a $15 million bonus, and then 800 people lost their job. Okay, yeah, I'm being a little hyperbolic about that. Guy getting a bonus didn't cause 800 people to lose their job, but it doesn't look well. Not at all. As for the CFO, he got a $15 million bonus for taking the job. 11.3 million of that is apparently of stock, with an additional 3.75 million in funds, an additional $900,000 salary, and a 1.35 million target bonus. So there's a lot more to that than just they handed him 15 mil and said, hey, come work for us. But we knew the layoffs were coming, and Activision Blizzard has laid off hundreds of employees. And, my first rough estimate was probably a few hundred, anywhere 200-300, something like that, similar to what we were seeing at other places right now in the digital media sphere, like BuzzFeed and stuff like that. But it's a lot worse than that, because apparently they have laid off over 800 people at this point, possibly more. But publisher Activision Blizzard has begun its long-rumored layoff process, which I don't know if you'd call it long-rumored, because it was leaked last week that it was happening, and these poor employees have been going to work not sure if they're going to be the ones with a job next week or not. But anyway, informing employees this afternoon that it will be cutting staff. On an earnings call this afternoon, the company said that it would be eliminating 8% of its staff in 2018. Blizzard had roughly 9,600 employees, which would mean nearly 800 people are now out of work. That's a lot of employees. I'm pretty sure on the Blizzard side of things there's roughly 900 and some employees. So, this is definitely not just not Blizzard. This is a combination of Activision, Blizzard, I would assume King, because Activision owns King, and a few other departments, and they're probably going to be more of the non-essential departments, because we saw other layoffs happening already, as it was near the end of the year, of people in these support roles like customer service and stuff already losing their job at certain studios and other things. But let's continue. This afternoon, the mega publisher began notifying these who are being laid off across its various organizations, which include Activision, Blizzard, and King. Well, yeah, like I said. On the earnings call, Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby told investors that the company had once again achieved record results in 2018, but that the company would be consolidated and restructured because of missed expectations for 2018 and lowered expectations for 2019. The company said it would be cutting mainly non-game development departments and bolstering its development staff for franchises like Call of Duty and Diablo. And this is where we get to the problem. Alright, so if you hadn't been paying attention, a lot of these companies like Activision, Blizzard now, EA, and others have been making games for the investors. And what does that mean? Well, you've got the people who've loaned them money to make a product and see a return in it. These investors, of course, are always going to want more, and they're going to ask for more each and every year. It doesn't matter if you have the best-selling game of 2018 or had one of your, achieved record results for your company in 2018. It's never going to actually hit the mark that the investors want, which means it's going to be below expectations. This is why you have the rise of microtransactions that are so rife throughout everything, because investors want more, and the only way to get more is to nickel and dime you for red dots, or mounts, or other things. And, of course, they have gone ahead and, I guess, seen the writing on the wall, because they've got lower expectations for this year in 2019, especially in the Call of Duty and Diablo area, which, who knows why that is. It might have something to do with the fact that Diablo is catering to some kind of mobile audience now instead of its PC. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that Call of Duty came out with a microtransaction store a month or so after it released, just so people who was reviewing the game wouldn't know of its existence, so they can nickel and dime you for dots and skins and other things. I don't know. Maybe that has something to do with the fact that they're going to have lower expectations, because instead of making a game for the gamer, for the customer, for the person who wants to actually play this media, enjoy this media, and have a good time, you've decided to treat them as some kind of commodity, and you feel like they need to nickel and dime you after paying full price for a game. I've said this in the past, if you're going to pay full price for a video game, the only microtransaction that should ever exist in that game is an expansion. And that's it. Honestly. It's one, and it shouldn't be like a day one expansion either, because I can see that one, if that ever actually did happen, day one expansion. That's not an expansion. But, like games have done in the past. Comes out, releases, 6 months to a year later, 2 years later, boom, we have an expansion for it. Or whatever. And then people go and buy the expansion because it's extra content and all this other stuff for the game that wasn't originally there, yada yada. Anyway, but a lot of these microtransactions are simple, they're easy, they should be in the game already for free, like your red dot. I mean, heck, the smiley face dot from Call of Duty, that's been in 2 of the previous titles already as a free unlock for whatever it was that you have to do, an achievement or something, to get it to unlock. And then you have that reticle. Now you can pay $2 for it. Come on. We're not that dumb. And with the fact that, technology and everything has increased, people are more connected through Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and other platforms. We talk now. We talk a lot. And the gaming media is no longer your shield as a result. That's not where it all stops. It's not where we're only getting our information from. We're getting our information from people who have actually played said game, who doesn't just look at it for 30 minutes and claim this game's a 9 out of 7, or a 9 out of 7, a 9.7 out of 10, or something like that. But anyway. So, development sources from across the industry told this afternoon, Kotaku, I can't say Kotaku, anyway, this afternoon, that layoffs have affected Activision's publishing, Blizzard King, and some other of Activision studios, including High Moon. At Blizzard, the layoffs appear to have affected non-game development departments such as publishing and esports, both of which were expected to be hit hard. Yeah, we saw the esports thing coming, especially with the writing on the wall with what they've done at the end of the year with Heroes of the Storm and other things. We knew that was a big cut coming. It sucks. It really does, because if handled properly, I honestly think a lot of this stuff could be over the top, or over the top as in it would succeed. It's just these people don't seem to understand how to handle this stuff, and investors definitely don't know how to handle these things. But anyway, over the last few years, many of our non-development teams expanded to support various needs, Blizzard's president, J. Allen Brack, said in a note to staff around 1 p.m. PT. Is that Pacific time? That's Pacific time. That was obtained by Kotaku. Currently, staff levels on some terms are out of proportion with our current release slate. This means we need to scale down some areas of our organization. I'm sorry to share that we will be parting ways with some of our colleagues in the U.S. today. In our regional offices, we anticipate similar evaluations subject to local requirements. And the letter also prompted a comprehensive severance package containing health benefits, career coaching, job placement assistance, as well as profit-sharing businesses for previous years. To those who are being laid off at Blizzard, Blizzard employees receive twice yearly bonuses based on how the company performed financially. There's no way to make this transition easy for impacted employees, but we're doing what we can to support our colleagues, Brack wrote. And, I do have to say, a lot of these companies, they've got these severance packages and stuff with all these layoffs that they're doing. And, that is one thing I can go ahead and say good on them. They don't have to do that. I'm pretty sure they don't have to legally give you anything when they let you go. But this is coming from somebody who works, in the world and in an area where they don't have to have a reason to get rid of you. They can just snap their fingers and boom, you're gone the next day. They don't owe you anything. They don't have to give you anything. You're on your, out on the street, on your tail, with absolutely nothing. And unless you've got your own savings built up, you're pretty much screwed at that point. You have to find employment fast to be able to attempt to keep up payments. And heaven forbid you fall behind, because then you're going to be constantly behind on those bills. So at least they do that. I do have to give them props for that, and any other company who has given, some kind of severance package where they've given, so many weeks worth of pay or whatever, in order to help these employees transition to something else, find something else. So, there's that. It sucks that they're getting laid off. I firmly believe this is purely an investor reason. You've got a company who is making a record amount, apparently, right now, or did, with lower expectations next year, so obviously, something's going to have to change. They may have to downsize some, or, change their motto, and actually do something for their customers for a change to bring them back. But, I guess firing 800 people is a lot easier than trying to win back the favor of your customers on several of these things and actually produce a good game for a change. But anyway, the news follows months of rumors about layoffs at the publisher, which heated up early last week as word began to spread that hundreds of people across Activision Blizzard's various divisions might lose their jobs. Leading up to today, some of the publisher's employees have been coming to work with no clue as to what might happen. One person at Blizzard told me this morning that an employee arrived, they cried, and exchanged hugs in the parking lot. Yeah, when you don't know whose head is on the chopping block, it can be very emotional. Anyway, last fall, Kotaku reported that Blizzard's 2008 mandate had been to cut costs. Yeah, we already know about that. Their mandate, it's more like Activision's mandate that they needed to cut cost. But anyway, meanwhile, in a press release to investors this afternoon, Activision CEO Bobby Kotick wrote, "While our financial results for 2018 were the best in our history, record highs, we did great! We didn't realize our full potential. To help us reach our full potential, we have made a number of important leadership changes. These changes should enable us to achieve that many opportunities our industry affords us, especially with our powerful owned franchises, our strong commercial capabilities, our direct digital connections to hundreds of millions of players, and our extraordinary talented employees." And, yeah. That's it. And you know how you can fix this? I don't know, make a game for the game, or, for your customer base, instead of, making things for investors and purely for investors. That's why you're always talking to investors. Your statement is towards investors. Your Q&As are for the investors. They're not for the actual consumer. But anyway, what do you think about all this? Down in the description below, description comments. I'll get it right eventually one day. What do you think about all this? Yeah, I don't really have a question, just what do you think about it? I mean, it's 800 people who are now out of work because, well, they've got to downsize. Poor choices? Maybe. Yeah, probably. But anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. See ya.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment, smash that like button, and always subscribe for more. And of course, there are other videos floating around somewhere on the screen, so click one of those and see if you can find something that suits your fancy. Till then, I'll see you later. Bye.